Sure, why not? That's fine. Okay. Cool. Sorry, I was adjusting my camera again because it was being silly. Alright. Last time. Why is it like this? Oh, right, okay. Rejoin as player. Last time you guys finally were able to rescue Rin, do a prison break, punch through the wards inside the prison to teleport out as almost 30 combatants tried to rush the room you guys were in. You guys held them back with a combination of skill, firepower, and using technology to like seal corridors around until robots beat them down physically. Having successfully teleported out of the prison section, you all teleported into the loading area of the Sage Redoubt, this overall star palace, leaving traps behind on the fighter deck that Rin left these like shards, like dimensional shards that could hurt those people who were trying to follow you. Refine decided to leave a rude message, which I'm sure will have no direct repercussions for her, I'm sure. You guys jumped out into the void, all having void-capable suits, and went through the airlock on your own ship. Refine was able to pilot that remotely towards you all. You guys quickly got to your battle stations, booted up the VI, everything you needed to fight off the fighters coming after you guys. Could have been more fighters, but thanks to the sabotage you guys left behind, it did reduce the number of Harrier, Sovereign Harriers, these guys. And potentially there could have also been more Sovereign Monitors, another bigger class ship. Your guys' ship, once again, proves to be the envy of fleets all around the galaxy in both resiliency, speed, and power as they struggle to put a dent in you until the Sage Redoubt managed to get its main cannon powered up, at which point it started taking shots at you with a weapon that, while only rolling a few damage dice, always multiplied that result by 10, and after only 2 shots, kind of devastatingly punched through you guys. But your warnings beforehand reached the edge of perdition. They gathered up all the personnel they had on the moon, brought the edge of perdition out to you all, and decided that it was time to try to make use of their more unique way of navigating the warp. God damn it, that's 40k. The drift. Excuse me. Interestingly enough, especially Refine, having lived in the drift for a long time, looked out and saw that the drift itself seemed to be in a different state than previously. Not the normal drift that you guys know, not the chaos of like the crash out, which brought you all out of it in the first place, but rather it seemed like there were smooth pathways, almost tunnels or currents. I believe the example I used last time was when you see like the East Australian current and Finding Nemo, just like still that same substance. It's still water, it's still drift, but moving through in a different way. Able to see out towards the like metaphorical horizon of the drift to see that there are still a lot of chaotic, spiraling energies and events happening out there, but the route you were taking was calm. You all successfully made the jump all the way to the Tridoiran system, which has a military world, agri world, manufacturing world. You all ended up at Tien. This is a military outpost, and this is the first system you guys have seen that's really and truly under the control of the Emil biocracy. Not just an outpost. As you entered, you saw fleets of Omu getting ready, staging, perhaps doing exercises. Other smaller fighters. Realizing I don't think my notes on the fighters stayed, but there's like these bug-like fighters, like green beetles, but the energy coming out from their outer ring case is what powers them. You saw striders, which were kind of like water strider bugs, but notably they produce some sort of hardened energy at the end of their feet, so they were literally walking across the void of space. Yes. Then, sorry, it was Ceratons was the bug-like fighters. There was perhaps the biggest example there, they told you was called an Embedion. Looked essentially like a giant tick, a massive space station ship like a tick. Particularly, the captain told you guys that this is Denon Station. It is a military outpost that has been stationed in orbit around Tien for quite some time. As we began to be directed in by the, essentially, tugboats, that's what striders are kind of an equivalent for, Refine had a rather devastating question asked that was not really the right time to ask it. But, nonetheless, you asked Captain Trison where the, like, bigger, new experimental dreadnought ship animals are.
Technically, I asked if they were on this station. I didn't
That's
ask
true. That is true.
where they were.
Still, as it turns out, not a great question with classified military intel.
Totally. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I'm just saying, like,
you guys kind of heard, the, like, sheriff from the first town just be like, kind of like sigh in the background, like, man, I'm really rooting for these Outworlders, but they're making it fucking difficult. But nonetheless, clearly they still trust you guys as they're bringing you into the station. We will start there as they begin bringing you into the station in question. Is there anything you guys are kind of doing on the ship before, like, as you're being, like, led in via, like, running lights along the side of the giant tick, and by these striders?
Well, I guess since Yo did bring it up earlier, or I guess we'd say last session, it's like they'd already talked to the cap about it, but others they would, I guess, sort of like go to like the bridge and sort of bring up on like the big screen there. It's like, all right, so I brought him up here. I'm hoping he hasn't followed us all the way out here, but considering how stubborn he is, I wouldn't be surprised. So this guy right here, I'll throw it up in Discord here, because I know I've given you a copy of this, but I'll here.
Mentioned it to Shaw once, but yeah, that's
yeah. So this, and what you'll see is an elf wearing basically a very nice suit, red blazer, blue tie, and a fedora, and what I could say would be best described as resting grump face. And you'll just sort of motion the screen and say, "This is mine and my mentor's arch nemesis, lead inspector of the Intergalactic Police, Inspector Zenigata."
Just on the other line from the captain's just like, say he's wanted by the police? No, I'm just kidding. I don't think you guys would keep the line open for that. Just a funny jest. I mean, I guess you guys did know that they worked for the Aspis Consortium, which is certainly not a very legal enterprise. But I think this is the first time you guys have seen that they are, like, actively wanted by the police or, like, an inspector.
I mean, I don't know if any of the others, like, Shaw's tracking, so like I don't know if anybody else has thoughts on that.
Fair enough.
No, Shaw will look over to it, like I said, and try and basically. I'm not too worried about it right now. I think if we appreciate you being upfront about it, but if they've managed to follow us all the way out here in the middle of a drift crash, then I think this fella's. I got questions for him how he was able to fly through that. But it is. This won't last forever, I hope. So it's good to know when such times come.
Very well.
I'm sorry, have you tried just shooting him in the past, or sorry, what was the deal?
Truly an elegant solution.
It's like Yo just sort of like raises one of their eyebrows. It's like, you do realize that killing an intergalactic police officer, especially a high-ranking one like that, is going to bring more attention to you and not less, right?
I mean, we've
Not
killed
if
a
they
few
don't know if
high-ranking
you-
business people, and I think they get more worried about dying than the cops.
Such
that's-
such good friend advice. Just like, hey, we'll tell you how to kill them without getting chased. We're fucking all over it.
I mean, he's out here in the drift all by himself. Like, it's if they know you killed him. For all they know, he just got lost.
Just the fucking
No.
bit of Pain and Panic and Hercules. Just like if is good.
Maybe he ran into a bunch of meteor drakes.
Hmm.
No.
One
Not
can
opposed
hope.
to it if. Not opposed to it if it becomes necessary to deal with him, but I prefer not. We've been on the run from plenty of folks over time. I prefer thus far we've managed to avoid having the law be part of it. So I think I'd prefer to keep it that way as much as possible. The
I mean,
Corpus and the Corpus and the Golden League were bad enough.
Wait, you've had how? All right, so Edge Core, like the former was it Blackheart Security,
Mhm.
and the Golden League have been after you all.
Oh yeah.
How the hell are you all still alive?
What were they? The people with the Callistocrats.
Oh yeah. Then.
Yeah, and the Callistocrats. Yep.
Oh, and the it's like and the I don't know if any of you can understand Kasathan. They're just sort of like speaking in exasperated like language, and it's like, how have you all survived for so long?
Just like, what the fuck?
It turns out shooting everyone they send after you until there's no one left is a real easy way to deter more people being sent after you.
Turns out, reasonable strat.
Also, not dying when they shoot you helps too.
Right. Okay.
Oh yeah,
well,
and let's also
That is
remember
crazy.
that whole. I mean, that is a very Shaw thing, given the.
I mean,
amount of
like, it's not
punishment he's taken.
wrong. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and also I'll look over at Refine. Yeah, that whole business with the Hell Knight Inquisition into Edge Corporate dealings a couple months back. Yeah, we had some involvement in that.
I just thought they'd be interested in the gossip.
And they were.
You guys want to like name drop any more factions? Or...
We've had but my point being, in all of that, we've managed to stay away from getting away from the lawful folks over on the Pact Worlds. I certainly don't care to have a run-in with the Hell Knights if I can help it. So if we can deal with him, ideally without shooting him, that'd be preferable if it becomes necessary. But it's a big sky that we're out in right now, and the drift ain't in much state to make it any smaller.
I mean, he's been on my my mentor's tail for even longer than I've known Lupin, and that's probably been. And you see them counting on like all of your. God, I think he said probably almost 50 years now, which for an elf is like no time at all.
Yeah.
For the rest of you schmucks.
Maybe he's lonely.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past.
Maybe he's
him.
lonely is crazy.
And didn't you say his health was like 60?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure how old Zenigata is. I'd imagine probably a few centuries at least.
I think you'd assume at least a couple centuries.
Yeah.
I think yesterday class action used at 60 years, and I'm like, Rin's like, that's literally an infant.
That's literally an infant. Oy oy. Classic elf superiority.
Yeah.
All right.
But Luke, my mentor is for him, our work is for him. It's not about the loot. It's more of like the thrill of the chase, that sort of thing. So he doesn't want to kill the guy because where's the fun in that?
That's a fair point.
I mean, you need to know if he comes after us, it will be his ass.
His ass is dead.
The answer to your earlier question, how are they still alive? The answer is incredible violence.
Incredible and unceasing violence.
Well, I did slit the throat of one of those guards. That was oddly satisfying. I will say that.
Put that on R, like the space version of r/r oddly satisfying. Okay. Let's
just keep slashing next until you run out of problems.
Just keep slashing.
And another one down, and another one down.
All right. So, you guys begin to be flown into the station itself. Denon Station. You all move in. You see there are more of those landing pad creatures, although this time they're kind of not growing out of the jungle, but rather built into the interior skin, flesh, kind of hard to say, of this tick. Like the landing pads that were eating people, or could eat people. Alright, are you guys casting like spells or any prep stuff before you disembark?
I wasn't planning to.
I should take my d20s for the day.
Oh yeah, go ahead and roll your d20s. We'll see what we got. That's a pretty great spread, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's about
shit.
That's like an auto success and maybe an auto failure in different situations.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Strong showing. Use that to when you inevitably fail a social interaction. Okay.
Or at least when you do, and I can't make up for it with a witty joke.
That's a fair point. Alright, you guys are going to disembark here. Around you see that, like, you've seen a lot of, like, kind of the flight crew, like the Navy uniforms you guys have seen before. It's, like, very, like, cloth with, like, some hardened chitin at joints and vital places. That's kind of their standard Navy uniform. You see what you would assume is their, like, standard Army forces as they wait for you on the ship. So, whereas the Aslanti base soldier, the Aeon Guard troops of varying kinds, obviously very, like, polished, clean, reflective looking armor, these aren't necessarily, they're not dirty, but they're much less polished. Both in the fact that a lot of it seems probably for the best. The Aeon troops are not very stealthy. A lot of the armor plating seems very dull, so it wouldn't stand out as, like, a bright color. And you see most of it seems like it does seem to have a lot of flex to it. it basically looks like pangolin scales.
Okay.
If you guys know that creature.
Mhm.
So this is kind of like dull brown scales. It's very obvious that these are like either are or were grown. Sorry, we're on. It is just
You're
the
talking about
fucking
if we knew what a
struggle bus over
pangolin
here.
was.
Okay. Sounds like you guys know what a pangolin is. I basically went on to describe like, while this is, it seems like their armor and their uniform for the Biocracy army, it's not very uniform, as the other meaning of the word would have it. Like, these are clearly, I mean, hard to, like, probably not an actual living creature that they're wearing, but most likely grown from them, or sourced from them. And as such, there are the differences and imperfections that you'd find in any living creatures. Different coloring, different patterns, different scale size. This is clearly something that has been made extremely effective, but without kind of that compromise of the natural world. Okay. I guess everyone give me a perception check as you kind of glance around here and glance at these armed forces.
Fuck, gotta find my sheet. Where was it again?
Blah, 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 blah. Under the journal of this current campaign, the Reign of Ages, there is a sub folder in that called the party.
Got it.
Which, would it be easier for you guys if I just move that to the very top?
Probably.
I will... Can I do that? I will figure out how to do that later. I just have to make a new folder and drag your guys' stuff back up. But that noted, I see that is not ideal. Incredible nat 1 at the beginning. Jesus Christ. Okay. As you guys are looking around here, the first thing that strikes you, take a long look at the soldiery, as you need to see what exactly they have going for you. How strong is this civilization to stand in the face of the Aeon Throne? And the answer is they look pretty fucking capable. The first thing is their primary weapon, which they all kind of have out, but at a rest stance, not trained on you, is a rifle that looks like a long ant, essentially. Like a dull, shiny red, literally like different sectioned body like an ant, even with some pincers at the front. As you watch, you can see some of like antenna and even like maybe eyes can be seen to slightly move on the guns. These are obviously like currently living creatures. The secondary weapon that they all seem to have is what looks like a sword hilt. But I would say, does anyone want to give me you can make a physical science check on them.
Physical science, not life science?
Oh, sorry, life science. Life science.
Oh, oops. Oh, good heavens, Nix. Mine would be 2 lower, Ben. My life science isn't as good as my physical science.
I have no bonus in both of them, and my intelligence is 1.
Incredible. Incredible showing. Okay. Rin on a 38 is very high. This is reminiscent of a kind of large flat-like worm, what on other planets or areas might be called a ribbon worm. You can even see it kind of squirms every now and then on their belts. If this one is like the ones you know of, its primary defense mechanism is that when threatened, it fires out what basically looks to be its whole nervous system in like a web-like pattern. Really weird, gross
That's
thing
amazing.
that does exist in real life, by the way.
Seems
I'm
like a
sure of
poor
it, but that's
decision.
amazing.
That's very cool. It's very cool.
What remains to be seen is like how would firing out like a wet, flexible nervous system function as a weapon, but it must be related.
I mean, it opens up your nervous system to being physically attacked from the outside.
It's true.
Yeah. But these are bioengineered, so for all we know, it could be like the strength of spider silk or something.
I definitely was trying to give them a melee weapon that was like, what would be crazy for a civilization that's not super into nature and biology to hold. Like, most people are like, oh yeah, I'll hold a moving worm as the hilt of my weapon.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's usually the armaments on them. I will say, just on the real, especially on the really high 42 perception check earlier, these soldiers seem, this is very much like a wartime footing that they're on. They're very serious. They appear very skilled. And you do see like, okay, I see how something like this could stand against the immense magics and magitech put forward by the Aeon Throne in the Aslanti Empire. Waiting for you guys. I don't know. I said them because I'm putting it in my notes as well, and that's why the tense changed. But you do see Captain Trison. He sees you all disembark, and is, honestly, everyone give me a sense motive check so you can see how pissed off he is. Refine him, please get an @1. That'd be so funny. Jesus Christ.
Rin does not know, nor does he care.
Okay, I honestly, no one but Yo passes there. I think Yo, you get the sense like, okay, he is still mad about what was said and is keeping a calm demeanor in front of the other military people here, but he's not happy about it. I think the rest of you don't see that inner anger. He has masked it well enough that he just seems professional.
As one should be. After all, I didn't do anything wrong. It was public knowledge if the Aslanti knew about it.
I don't think that's how that works.
What an insane statement. The idea of, like, finding, like, an enemy combatant's war computer and being like, ah, yes, publicly available documents.
Look, I think I got, like, a nat 20 to get into that computer. I don't think Refine thinks getting into that computer is, like, a difficult task.
I think Refine's nat 20, I feel like there is acknowledgement of it. Like, I think you would know that it's crazy hard, but I think probably she's still cocky about it. Like it's crazy hard, but she's like, wow, I just absolutely took a Sunday stroll through that encryption like it was nothing, even though it should have been impossible.
Sure.
Because I think it makes sense that she would know, like, this was very well guarded, it just didn't matter.
Okay.
Like, I don't think she's so out of, like, the realm of reality good that she's just like, wow, this is easy.
Fair.
Like, why does everyone have... People these days have terrible encryptions. Okay.
I do think Refine is somewhat of the mentality, if something is a secret, it should not be put on a computer.
That does strike me as, like, I was thinking, like, maybe Refine's personal data pad is, like, so encrypted, but I feel like Refine is the type of person, like, she's got, like, a handwritten code somewhere that is in, like, 5 different ciphers, but it's not accessible by any wireless network.
Yeah.
None of us ever write down our weaknesses on paper and then just leave them around.
No.
Honestly, hilarious idea for real life. I might start doing that. Just like my name and then like weaknesses and then bullet points. It's like what is someone gonna do with this? Who will be my enemies? Speaking of hopefully people who aren't enemies, Tryson is like, we have an important meeting to get to. One of the Biocracy Council is here on Denon Station and has agreed to meet with me and with you.
Thank you.
Kind of inclines his head. He's like, follow me. All right. As you guys walk through just corridors of clearly biological walls in nature, some corridors seem to have like pulsating walls, like you're walking along like an inner tube of a creature, whatever tube that might be. Others seem to have regular floor, maybe even a stone floor, and like smooth chitinous walls or pearlescent shells, like some of the like quote unquote prefabricated buildings you saw at Karachi Station. But certainly truly a structure unlike anything you all have ever strolled through. I keep saying scrolled instead of strolled, and it's fucking me up. All right. You all are brought farther in. Sorry, my Roll20 is struggling. My whole life be struggling, apparently. It's an exaggeration, but... Okay. You guys are led through a variety of rooms, end up in kind of a hydroponics garden. You get the sense that this is not necessarily a usual, like, meeting room. But it has been, like, cleared of other people. Excuse me. Alright, I'm just gonna refresh my Roll20 really quick to try and... I don't have official art for obviously a lot of my Biocracy people, as they are not officially canon. But just so we can theater of the mind a bit more, I will put you guys on an actual map, so that we can more clearly envision where we are we're talking. Okay, give me 1 second, because Roll20 is reloading. Okay. I'm going to drag you guys on. If you guys want to drop yourselves over in this room. I'll shift ping it again. And this is an extremely well lit room, so I'm just going to set it to daylight settings.
I have no visibility.
Hold on, I gotta fucking turn it off and on again, because it's gonna be a silly goose like that. Oh, come on now, guys. What are we doing? What the hell?
I think as we're walking over, Refine will send a message to Shaw being like, are we sure it's a good idea to do this before we deal with the fact that my arm might explode?
Alright, you know what? We're just gonna turn dynamic lighting off for now. I don't fucking know. Roll20 does not want to work with me at the moment.
We are having technical difficulties.
I know, it's been insane. Fuck it, whatever. We ball.
Indeed.
We stay Vaughn. Okay. You guys see something that you guys have witnessed before, rather sneakily. When Corum used the Nautilus to do a like faster than drift travel communication, the Transstellar Nautilus. He spoke with Councilman Daramar. This is the man in kind of like a darkened robe. One eye of his face seemed to be covered by what looked like a gem-like augmetic. But was in fact, you can see very clearly now as he stands overlooking this kind of like water garden. You see that it is a spider where the whole like abdomen and thorax is just a giant ruby. At least that's like what it appears to be the equivalent of. We're just gonna use a stand-in token for now. Do you see it's kind of like a off-color cast to his skin? And imagine he has that ruby eye spider. With the power of your brains. Alright. He turns towards you all and he's like, please approach.
Okay.
And I will put... remember, Trison has kind of a... like the jellyfish augmetic over most of his left side of his face. This guy with an eye patch will be our stand-in. Trison, what the hell is going on? We were unable to contact you for a long time. You drop out of the drift. Not a scheduled arrival. Put our outer pickets on high alert with a ship that is clearly of foreign make. It's like, yes. This crew is from the Pact Worlds. I believe you've probably been briefed about them from previous trading interaction we had on the outpost. Yes, I do recall that. Why have they stuck with you? And I guess I should ask you all. You all met at a trading outpost. Are you traders?
Nominally, yes.
Deep in the vast now, as your people would say.
Correct. My name is Shawzerac Swarmbane, captain of the Argent Horizon. This is my crew. We came to Karachi Station on trade. We'd been received a tip through a close colleague of mine about potentially new and interesting trade opportunities at a planet not previously uncharted out on the edge of the vast. We came to Karachi Station to make some trades and ended up having several good dealings, both in terms of trade and in terms of doing a little bit of mercenary work for Mr. Corum there on World. Brought us into conflict with the Aslanti, and we assisted him with the evacuation for the district before Karachi Station was destroyed. With the drift crash since then, we've been slowly making our way back, and Captain Trison here has helped us, and we've helped him. We helped each other survive in an Aslanti system, and we just narrowly escaped from Arcidux Gregor. We have some information from that adventure you may find of interest, but that's the extremely condensed version of how we're here.
He nods. Trison, you all were stranded in the Dram system then, I take it? He nods like, yeah, we set up base on one of the abandoned moons above Noct Perdura. Well, I suppose if you had to be stranded in an Aslanti system, it was at least one where outsiders had a modicum of possibility for passing around. was fortunate. They helped us destroy a rather important factory. It would have led to a great swelling in their robotic capabilities. Soldiers that would have, quite frankly, put us on a bad run for our money if they had been mass-produced. We owe these four, as well as their comrade Scythe, a sentient robotic organism. He, as they all tried to teleport out and escape, which Rin managed to push through some very impressive arcane defenses to do, he delayed the aggressors and set his core, rather nuclear-capable core, to detonate. It took out the facility, hopefully all the scientists that could be bothered with it, even hopefully took out or damaged one of their large-scale mechs. I believe it was probably a Striker Class 1, judging from the teleportation influx. Indeed. Then we do indeed owe all of you. I will once again introduce myself to you all with a bit more respect that I am in the presence of those who have aided us, and aided us well. I'm Councilman Dermar. He, puts, one hand over his chest and does, a slight bow over that arm.
I'll try to replicate actually, wait. Never mind. I was going to replicate the gesture. Have I seen other folks make that gesture? Is that, a common greeting I've seen among the Biocracy?
I think you've seen it's a common greeting.
I'll do the same.
Military might have some more official salutes, but this is just I'm greeting someone I respect.
Right. Of course, being our communications officer, you'll do the same. And as they come up, they'll reach their pocket puppet's card. Well, allow me to properly introduce myself. They'll hand out the card with their top right arm. Full name is Yo Julia Sabu, 8th rank of the Aspis Consortium, apprentice to the Great Lupin III, and communications officer for the Argent Horizon. And it does actually, and just like before, it does say all of that on the card.
Yeah, it has all of it miraculously on.
It's it's on one side, and then the other side is sort of like a chibi, smiling version of Yo's masked face.
I love that. Very well. Okay. Councilman Dermar, again, these deep navy robes, the red gem on his eye, the spy. It's almost like he's like a camera lens might iris to focus on you. The spider literally rotates on his face.
I think Rafad has just been looking intently at all of the stuff in here, not really fully paying attention.
I'll let you do a check for some of these plants in a minute. See if you can figure out what the fuck some of these plants, because a lot of the stuff you guys have seen is more animal based, but the Biocracy does plant stuff too. Okay. He's he gestures at his blue navy robes, kind of these dull blue navy. Appears to be the uniform of the council. I speak for the council of the Biocracy. The council is made up of 8 elected officials. We work together on both actual biocratic projects, such as hydroponics, animal raising, things like that. It is a requirement to serve on the council that you be at least skilled in our sciences and, quite frankly, our arts, as they are more often than not one and the same. The council rarely convenes a full session. We usually communicate from a distance, spread out among our holdings. I must tell you that I am a little hopeful seeing you all come here. I am hopeful that we could gain some more allies, seemingly extremely capable ones. I was told that your ship out there... What is your ship's name?
The Argent Horizon.
Indeed, the Argent Horizon. It sounds like it took quite the punishment from a main cannon of a Aslanti star fortress, not to mention being pursued by a bevy of their smaller craft. It's quite an
Oh, it's fine. I
accomplishment.
fixed it.
That's crazy. How long were you in the drift? Like a week? Crazy. Very
About half.
impressive.
Shaw smiles.
Incredible.
Refine is a dazzling engineer. But,
This guy is like
yeah.
very like blandly spoken. I think you get the impression he's like being so dead serious right now. He's like, that's actually nuts.
Oh, it's like I didn't believe it myself either, but Refine is a very skilled engineer. They're practically an alchemist with machines.
Well,
We've dealt with a number of difficult circumstances, and being an independent tradesman in the Pact Worlds, you deal with a number of unusual circumstances, and I'm also a former military man. We decided we'd rather have a ship that can handle the majority of things that a galaxy might throw at us. Albeit a super capital ship was not my first pick, but I'm glad we were able to pull through.
well, before I furnish you with more details, quite frankly, I would like to have you as allies. At the very least, perhaps we could retain your services via an exchange. Every resource we have against the Aslanti helps. Before I give you all what is, quite honestly, a more in-depth picture than an outsider would usually get, there is the matter of, I understand that on the way in, you radioed about some of our, quite frankly, top-secret military projects. Why? I would want to understand why before we proceed.
Shaw grimaces slightly. Refine has an interesting conception of the classification means in terms of information systems. We found it aboard the Aslanti Star Fortress.
Well, that is concerning, but I suppose we can make it part of the explanation. If the enemy already knows about it, that's... I had
Well,
hoped...
they don't know much about it. They seem to just be happy that the Emerald Dominion, the thing with the big Aeon crystal thing that took out Karachi Station, they seem to mostly be happy that that was almost done, because it seems like Tremaine is maybe not sharing information with everyone equally, because they had heard that you all were working on something big.
No, You speak of the orbital weapon deployed by the Emerald Dominion?
Yeah.
You think it is Aeon technology, sure, but you think it's an Aeon? You think it's Aeon Stone related?
Oh, it's an Aeon Stone.
A very large one, actually.
A conglomeration? You mean one large?
I can do better than that. Shaw pulls out his data pad and pulls up the feed from the escape from Karachi Station. We got footage. We had a run-in. Our escape from Karachi Station had a run-in with the Emerald Dominion itself.
He kind of frowns and just kind of passively, stoically watches this. He's watching one of their outposts get glassed.
Like I said, I was a military man in the Vescarium. I've seen my share of powerful weapons. This thing's something else. And that's not the only thing either. a good significant part of our information here also has to deal with the information we pulled from the Star Fortress. I look over at Tryson. Involves Project Prescience as well.
Project Prescience. Tryson, you mentioned something in passing. Part of what I was having trouble understanding is that I received a distress call via a, quite frankly, very expensive emergency line. They're hard to use and hard to manufacture and prone to burnout. But Coram, the head of the colony, contacted me asking for some of our forces to be deployed there, despite the fact that we are stretched across multiple fronts. And yet, seemingly mere moments after you brought your ship there, Tryson, and we did send one of our most accomplished ships and ship's captains. How the Emerald Dominion was there so quickly, and indeed it seemed as though... Well, perhaps you could explain. This Project Prescience. He gestures at Shaw.
I'll be frank, the science makes my brain melt, and I think it would be a bit better for Refine to have a discussion with your scientists about it. Essentially, they can send a message from the future to a specialized receiver and being vector reinforcements to in a previous time.
They have Aeon crystals, which they were trying to move themselves through time but couldn't quite figure it out. But they realized that they could have Aeon crystals that they could kind of create a pocket of time with to deposit them in specific locations in the past, in order to send messages that arrive before they were sent. I have a little bit more information that I can go over if you'll give me a sec to review the information and notes I took from the from Arsax Gregor's Star Palace, and of course we'll send you that information as well. Their system was not as foolproof as they thought it was at keeping people from getting information.
That is hard to stomach and believe, and terrifying in its hypothetical applications.
Yeah.
It is deeply problematic, to be sure. When infiltrating the Star Fortress, we essentially had to recover and dismantle the system before we could free Rin from prison there.
Yeah,
we have the crystal, sort of.
Maybe. We have a crystal we think is associated with the system. We're just not sure if when I take it out of my arm, it's going to explode.
What?
That's...
What does that mean? What do you, is your arm a hideaway limb? What are you talking about?
Well, you see, I've got this little tattoo here.
I see it.
And it's a little drone. And inside the drone is the crystal.
Like the tattoo floats around as a drone?
Well, no.
It's an arcane tattoo.
Yeah, it's an arcane tattoo.
And the drone is holding the crystal?
Well, so the crystal was in a liquid that we think if it were the crystal were exposed to air, it might blow up. So inside the drone is a compartment which is now filled with the liquid and has the crystal inside that.
You see, he glances around at this map is a little bit more techy than it would be, obviously, but imagine there are creatures hooked up to the hydroponic vents that generate oxygen. But he looks around the room being filled with generated oxygen.
There's a reason I have not taken it out here.
That's wise. I think that's wise.
And I figured what would be the best is if at some point I was sent to some scientists who might have an idea of how to solve this problem. We don't know if it's going to explode. It might not.
I can
Either
send
way, I
you to
think
some of our
perhaps-
specialists who might be able to take this device safely, or this crystal.
And we can probably do it in the vacuum because that's probably safer place to do it.
Very
Anyway,
well.
that's the deal with the crystal there.
We're definitely able to get good information on it. But the Prescience thing is long term. If that system is able to be brought online throughout multiple parts of the Star Empire, they'll be able to be. They will know where they need to be before they even realize it. Being able to send messages to their past selves to get reinforcements is horrifying, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because we experienced this twice. Once was with the Emerald Dominion. We think that they had one of these systems aboard the scout ship that was at Karachi Station and signaled for reinforcements as soon as Tryson showed up. The other time we noticed was in the factory on Nokpur Dua. The crystals, I explained that the crystals glowed, and the effect on it was significantly nauseating. I think that's a side effect, but it generally, I think that, it would also generate significant physiological effects. And then as we were
What
making
is
our
wrapping
escape,
the crystal in a pocket of the plane of time? I mean, that's not going to be pleasant for those around it.
I shouldn't think so. But there were dozens of additional soldiers that were not part of the garrison. Say nothing of the mech showing up.
Yeah.
So we've seen it in action. It's a question of how widely across the Star Empire it's deployed. I can't imagine. Tremaine doesn't seem like the sort who likes to share his toys too willingly, and it seemed like Gregor's scientists were trying to replicate it.
Yeah. They didn't seem to quite understand how it works. On either front, the big weapon or the prescient system.
Very well. You see, he's really trying to take all this in and considering it. He's like, all right. I have the authority of the council in this matter. I would like to extend an invitation to you all as an ally. I'm sure, well, I wouldn't expect you to do it out of the goodness of your hearts, but I'm sure that we could come to some sort of understanding. Having a small force like yours, a ship that's as fast as yours, perhaps if we paired it up with some of our tech for what I would consider more traditional drift navigation, a force like your group's would be a incredible asset to have. But before you agree, I will tell you exactly what it is we are facing and our situation. The Emil biocracy is old. Admittedly, not as old as the Aslanti, but as I'm sure you're aware, from time to time, base humans throughout the eons have been scattered to different parts of the stars. Unlike the Aslanti, who by all accounts came from a old world that they escaped some sort of cataclysm, and rather than perhaps taking that moment as a revelation or realization that life can be short and that things should be done to not, well, frankly, hurt others, or at least reduce their own suffering, The Aslanti grew into perhaps the most xenophobic culture we have ever encountered. Aslanti are superior in their own eyes. They are indeed human, as are we all. Like gestures like him and Trayson. Less so you all. You have more of a diverse biology aboard your ship, which I do find fascinating. We can discuss that later. They became outwardly expansionist. They used their Aeon magics, especially centering around their Aeon Stone technology, to conquer worlds, seed new colonies, essentially enslave, sometimes servitude, but slavery de facto all the same, lesser races as they put it. And there is no sign that they will stop. They will keep pushing until this galaxy is theirs. We were not always a warlike people. We took a more naturalistic approach as our civilization evolved. We, of course, like all cultures, or at least the majority, we have magic users as well. They certainly aided in the way that our biocratic sciences developed. But we were still cautious. Our civilization, biocracy, I wouldn't call ourselves an empire really, expanded peacefully, we grew, and we knew that the more we reached out into the unknown of the void, that we would encounter hostile pushback. We grew our military, we developed ships, we took the original wild Omu, they became the backbone of our navy, as we used them to create our biological ships. Our technology grew. Some of it was later repurposed into more military assets, such as our plasmalisk generator creatures. We've used similar technologies as weaponry. But at the end of the day, we are simply a smaller civilization. At our spies and networks last count, there are 12 major systems of the Aslanti Empire, as well as, we presume, a numerous amount of smaller planetary settlements as well, colonies, outposts, that kind of thing. They have many, many fleets dispersed in different areas. We, on the other hand, have 7, I would call them, fully occupied systems. Systems where we control all the available planetary space. We are well defended. They're cultural centers, agricultural centers as well, artistic pursuits, but we have 7 planets that we are at our strongest. 7 systems we are at our strongest. A full 5 less than them. We have fewer resources to draw from, and indeed in some ways our resources are harder to mass produce, which slows down our growth. We have been at war with the Aslanti for, at this point, just over a century. There are many active fronts. There are plenty of skirmishes that happen to our people. There are a few of our systems that, quite frankly, are under near constant siege. Things are bleak. In many ways, our technology, one could say, is a rival of theirs, and in some ways surpasses it. But it is a degree of power, and they simply have more to power those resources. I would not say that we are on the verge of collapse, although if our estimates hold true, I think it would not be more than... The good estimate would be another century before we are wiped out. Less favorable estimates point that to be a number that could be measured in decades instead. If this Project Prescience is as you say, I fear that those predictions, even the decades-long ones, are woefully optimistic. See Triton kind of like looking down at the ground. There's almost a sense of perhaps embarrassment from him, just like he, it's hard to hear your leader speak so frankly about what a bad situation you're in.
TLDR, we're so fucked.
Pretty much. That is what you'd be agreeing to help. And perhaps, if not to soothe our pride, looks at Trison, but perhaps as an enticement for you all, I will share with you what your cybernetic friend, what do you call yourself? He's not gonna refine, just like asking, like,
I'm an android. I'm from Alluvian in the Drift.
Indeed. We have heard stories of there, that there are those native to the Drift. I'm sure some of our... We would love to pick your brain about that, especially in the current nature of how the Drift has been acting. But we will answer your question. No. Our new dreadnoughts and flagships are not on this station, as you asked, or in the area.
Okay.
But at our best biocratic facilities, our best shipyards, they are being grown. And indeed, perhaps one or two are already functional. Currently, the main one that is functional is over Akora. That is our homeworld. We found great success in how we grew and created breeding programs for the Omu. Their nature is that of the void itself, but also one that undoubtedly had aquatic origins, and it is in that grace that we found our next inspiration. We created a line of living vessels called the Angeli. The singular would be an Angelium. He taps his little ruby spider. It kind of like stretches its legs a little bit. You hear like kind of a crystalline tinkle. It crawls down his face into his hand, and a red tinted hologram begins to spin up in spirals until it forms a complete image. You get a sense that it's like giving off some sort of like natural particle off of itself to create almost like a mist-like effect, but what looks like a hologram. This is an Angelium.
Oh, that's awesome.
They are great serpent-like creatures. They have limbs, unlike a serpent you might see on a aquatic world. And, well, they easily rival, if reports are believed, the Emerald Dominion in size. Perhaps a bit longer in length. Out of character, this is Paizo art for a much smaller type of creature that came out in the Drift Crisis.
Okay.
They're known as sky sails. But
They look awesome.
yeah, I went through a lot of Starfinder animals to find one that was going to be this dreadnought. But this is the art we'll be using for any of the Angeliae. These would crush some of the larger Aslanti ships. If we could grow them faster, I'm sure we could win. As you imagine, it is a difficult task to bring about a creature as large as that. Particularly one outfitted with such proficient combat capabilities. See, he kind of, like, from the palm, reaches back his middle finger and rubs it across the back of the spider. The hologram slowly dissipates, the spider crawls back up, kind of, like, wiggles a little bit and settles back over his eye.
If you don't mind me asking,
He gestures
is
at you to
the
continue, yeah.
eye spider called?
What? Oh, my spider here?
Yes.
I call him Thuribald.
Okay.
I call him Dennis.
Oh, you mean like a species name?
Yes.
No.
Your
Ah.
mind starts
No,
scratching
I
out
just
all over
Thuribald's
the
what I call him. He's kind of like a pet.
Okay.
This is well, you know, it doesn't have as much of a species name. This is a bespoke creature that I personally designed.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've got one of those too. And she's gonna point to the. They're gonna point to the tattoo.
Okay, I would love to see it. Sounds like there could be something
Not
potentially
coming out,
devastating.
Don't worry.
All right, I'm just making sure. I suppose if I had to call it something, I would call it an arachnocrystallic aid. I'll put it in the chat. Hold on. Realizing the last 4 things I've put in chat are all just A names. It's the greatest hits at the beginning of the dictionary.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, while I appreciate the curiosity, what say you all?
Speaking, I'll look to the crew. Speaking personally, I'm interested. I also think that given that it would be, I think it's in our interest to work with them, especially while the drift's in the state it's in. And I also very much, if the drift does becalm itself, the worlds we call home are going to be under significant threat from the Aslanti. I'll look to Councilman Dara Marze. The Pact Worlds in the Veskarium have their fleets of their own, but the Aslanti, as from the nearest we can tell, have been equally hostile and heavily outgun us as well. This is going to be our fight eventually. I look to the rest of the crew. Do we fight this now? I'm in favor, but I'm open to what you all think.
I've got no issue with it. There seems to be lots to learn here from the biocracy.
And I'm sure a lot of our technology could sell for great profit.
No, I'm not so interested in all that. That's more the captain's business. I just find it interesting. And there's not many opportunities to look at Aslanti tech either, and this is probably the best I've got, so.
Kind of nods at that. Yo, what were you saying?
Yeah, it's like, here. Well, it's like I'm always behind you, or beside you, Captain.
Rin, do you add anything, or you just kind of go along with it?
I just go along.
Alright, I think we're in then.
Very well.
Shaw,
I will say, Shaw,
extend a hand.
before he shakes your hand, I would say give me a I guess whatever check you think would be most closely related to your... honestly, piloting would be related to the fleet knowledge. So I'm going to give me a piloting check.
Not terrible.
Sure, I think even in just saying that statement, like, you know, you guys have had clashes with them in the Pact Worlds, like the Pact Worlds have had clashes with the Aslanti Empire, and that they seem to, like, outgun you guys. It does occur to you that the Biocracy is probably why they haven't full-scale invaded you guys.
Yeah.
Like, you think if this gets wrapped up quick by Project Prescience, you guys are absolutely next in the firing lane. They've just been delayed by, until now, fighting something that is at least comparable and able to hold them back.
Yeah. They're spending a lot of resources here. Doubly so if somebody like Tremaine has a personal gripe with Tryson.
Exactly.
Well, and I think that's kind of... Shaw has a couple of ideas, but I think he'd be getting well above his pay grade here. So, in the meantime, I think he's happy to help out.
Alright, he extends his hand and shakes back.
So, where should we begin? I guess before we do much else, there's one thing I don't know if Captain Tryson mentioned that our ship can do that is a little bit different in addition to its other things. It has, inside the interior of its cargo hold is actually twice as big on the inside as it appears on the outside. In a previous job, we were able to essentially make off with some very clever technology from one of the mega corporations, and since then we've been able to keep it. So, essentially, even though our ship's about the size of a military dropship, I can carry as much as a bulk freighter. So, might be of interest to you, among other things, in terms of military drop operations, or otherwise getting stuff where perhaps the Aslanti have been keeping you from resupplying. But in general, I think Shaw looks at Refine and the others and chuckles. We specialize in getting places where we're usually not supposed to be doing what we need to do, and then usually getting the hell out.
Indeed.
So,
perhaps a
yes,
blockade
and...
runner.
That I
Yes,
think we can do very well.
Yes, and even before I joined up with this slot, my expertise was in, let's say, acquisitions.
He kind of smirks at the implications. He's like, you've given me quite the idea. He brings you guys into... You bring your tokens over if you want, but like this section over here with, like, quite frankly, even crazier plans. But he brings you towards a large tree. By the leaves of it, it seems to be some sort of breed of, like, oak tree. He gestures toward you. See that there are, one of them is over here. There is another one across this, like, garden, for lack of a better word. You see this walkway, kind of the bluish light area is like a lifted walkway. Or semi-lifted. There's some stuff taller than it. There's a lot of big plants. Scientists are moving around it. He says, have you all ever seen anything like these before? And you see he takes a step toward the oak. You see that he, like, clearly, like, bends down toward the trunk and quietly whispers something. And Refine, I think you've been trying to, like, learn more of their language. You can tell he did say something in their language. And I'll tell you now that you know their blah 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 blah. Now that you know their home planet is Akora, Akora. God, it's hard to say. Their language is called Acheron. If you want to try to work on speaking it. You see even Trison kind of like tilts his head to the side as his jellyfish optic like sparks with electricity. He's kind of like, doesn't know what's gonna happen. Daramar speaks this word. You see he puts his hand out and it vanishes into the trunk, almost like it's a like illusion. He steps through it and appears out of the other trunk.
Oh, that's clever.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
The boffins over here have been calling it a portal oak.
Have they determined yet if it works from across different star systems?
You see his eyes, even the one without the ruby spider, glitter in excitement as you say that. Well, I think that's something you could help us test, no? Your mention of supplies is helpful, but I'm wondering... These trees do come in pairs. We can create seeds that if you water them with a particular formula, the tree should grow to maturity in mere days. A transplanetary portal oak. Perhaps even trans-system. Now, wouldn't that be quite the way to sneak into the facilities of the Aeon Throne?
Star grins. That fleet's gonna have a hard time if you guys can just walk in the back door.
I'm sure it won't always be possible, and I'm sure they'll think of defenses to it, but if this works, perhaps an advantage we sorely need. This has been in development for a while now, but previously, the talks of using it amongst myself and my fellow council members amounted to the same argument. This is a good trick. If they adapt to it, the trick will be over. How do we get it somewhere where it will be of the most use? Us sneaking onto one of their outer systems is not exactly very worthwhile. But perhaps if you all, with your fast ship and your piloting skills, could reach one of their more fortified staging worlds, there would be quite a lot of havoc to wreak.
I think we'll need a little bit of preparation, but I'll look to the others. I'd be up for a challenge.
Seems interesting.
Besides which, I'm willing to bet there's good salvage to be had if we're dealing with some looted Aeon tech, and perhaps we can get good information for you while we're doing that.
You're more than welcome to any of their tech that you can take.
I have one more question.
Yes?
Are there any such worlds that currently have oak forests?
We'll consult the charts and see what would be the closest that we could find.
Just because I figure it would be better to, hide it amongst other oak trees than just randomly have it show up in the middle of a city overnight.
This is true. Alright. Sorry, give me 1 second. Alright. I will consult the charts and we'll find the closest we can get. Certainly nothing too close to their capital. But perhaps there's one of the 12 systems. One of the 12 systems where we could really make a difference. He's kind of like staring off into space.
Ben, while we were in the, I forget the name of Gregor's system. Did I know we mostly spent our time at Noct Perdura and the moons? Were there any of the other? Do we have much information on what the other planets were like in the system?
Um, hmm. You knew it was the Dram system. I would say, I think Tryson would tell you is like, there's at least one more planet that is fully inhabited in the Dram system that I know of.
What are some of the other rivals to Tremaine and Gregor among the Orthodoxy?
Well,
We can provoke infighting.
the secondary planet, first of all, is Drolan.
Okay.
Secondary planet of Dram system. You were asking who might, like, who would be a rival to those two?
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's ways that we can, like, provoke some conflicts and stuff there. I don't know, but maybe, I guess there's a question. Do we start trying to work the politics in there to our advantage, or do we focus on just the two Orthodoxes that we've already royally pissed off? I think that could go either way, I suppose.
I would say he would tell you, he's like, from what I understand, I'm just updating my notes as we go. Sorry, my fucking Aslanti document is okay. You can tell you that one of their other main systems is the Desage system. Which is lorded over by Arcidux, Elevere, Nemoni. She is, by all accounts, a very gifted technomancer. Real good with Arcanotech. She is... well... Their system... I will say their system isn't very foresty, though. Although she is a rival of Arcidux Gregor's. They only have 2 planes and some rather intense... Sorry, 2 planets and some rather intense planar energies made those planets largely inhospitable to life, although I think there have been efforts to regrow some of the native biosphere.
I guess an additional question, you mentioned a couple of your planets being under siege. Would getting a backdoor to get after... who controls those forces sieging your systems, and would maybe getting after those guys where they live ease the pressure on your worlds a bit?
So getting supplies out to those worlds?
No. If what I'm saying is that if we can plant these portals, I don't know which of the Orthodoxes is besieging your systems. If we put the back door to their system, they would have to divert military assets away from your system. They would have to send their forces back to defend themselves. See what I'm saying?
He
You get a
considers
backdoor to attack them, forcing them to break their siege.
There's
Up to you.
another meaningful consideration, which is, do you know, and Ben, I don't remember if this was in the notes, where most of the dull gray Aeon stones are that they've been using?
You mean the ones that have been depowered, the councilman says.
Yes, yes. Those are... So I didn't quite have enough time to get into the full explanation, but basically it seems that the way they are likely creating things like the Emerald Dominion is by, for lack of a better term, melting down large quantities of dull gray Aeon stones in order to create larger Aeon stones from them.
I will say some of the lore you guys found made it seem like that was how the the demonstration one that you saw in the Star Palace, like that's what their scientist was trying to do. But it seemed impure, and that maybe the one on the Emerald Dominion is just an Aeon stone that is that big.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Ignore me.
Which was part of like her. She was like that, you know, like in her journal, she's like, that doesn't make sense. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How would he even go about doing that?
Never mind then.
But he would at least tell you is like dull gray ones, if it matters. A lot of the time they're merely ones that have been used up. Their magic doesn't last forever, and if it's overloaded, drawn on too much too fast, the stone will burn out and become a dull gray ion stone. That's why you can often find the dull gray ones as like any of the other shapes you normally find ion stones in. These like, you know, rhomboids, pyramids, spheres.
Yeah. Just one of the scientists was trying to find a way to turn dull gray ones into larger Aeon stones and basically get the magic back in them. It was all very, you know, the great work, prima materia, that sort of thing.
Got it.
I have one last question. Is that what are the planets in Tremaine systems like?
In Tremaine system. Yeah, he's got me jumping all over my notes here.
Sorry.
No,
I'm
you're
trying
good.
to help pick targets here. It's a question of whether we want to poke the bear immediately.
He holds sway over the Grayan system. Give me but a moment. Okay. The Grayan system. Council Darren said, like, if anything is telling that Arcidux Tremaine, that his star is, like, on the rise, it's that he is holding sway over that system. It's, like, one of the more useful systems of the Star Empire. There are, like, there's, like, an ocean world where, by the sounds of it, that's, like, their main naval academy, and like a lot of like their most promising pilots and captains come from there. There is like a sprawling metropolis on another one of the planets there. And the third one, by all accounts, is just kind of like literally like a luxury planet.
Personally, I think going after one of the systems that's close to one of your systems and that's a frequent one sieging one of your systems, is probably the best way to go, is they're least likely to think that you all have interplanet or intersystem teleportation, if it is a system from which you could conceivably get there more easily, especially because, as far as we're aware, we may not know this for sure, you all have better mastery of the drift in its current state than the Islanti.
That idea. I'm thinking about that, what you also said, Mr. Shaw, about getting them off of our backs. Okay. Sorry, trying to roll with the punches with your guys' ideas here.
Sorry, man.
No, you're good. You're good. That's what it's all about. He would tell you, like, have you been familiar yet with the idea of there's the Arsaduxy, but there's also the Exarchy. Have you heard about that?
Don't believe we have.
Exarchs. An Exarch is equivalent to a Arsadux. Mostly. There's some debate among that, and they kind of can control different spheres of power. But where an Arsadux is like a usually a hereditary title, sometimes there are blood coups and the like. They're aristocracy. Exarchs are of an equivalent rank almost, but they are like admirals. They're military leaders. Oftentimes, it is confusing. Oftentimes, Arsadux will control a lot of military matters. There aren't a lot of Exarchs, but the ones that there are really spearfront the war effort.
That actually has my attention quite a bit more.
One of the ones assaulting some of our planets right now, or overseeing it, is Admiral Ariok Hourvest. Fuck, I spelled Ariok wrong. There's no U. There's no U. If that is of interest to you, he is in control of the... So, we already talked about Desage. Talk about Desage. Irdenang.
Right.
That is the system that he controls. Irdenang is quite notably it's mostly asteroid belts, and the planets there are largely lifeless. As a powerful member of the throne, he is definitely trying to turn some of those planets more livable. And indeed, he glances at Refine. I don't know if any of them would be your kin, but by all accounts, he has enslaved a large cell of androids. He is using them as slave labor to build up the Irdenang system. And while we've never been able to make contact with them, if accounts are to be believed, there are at least a cell of android revolutionaries there. If you could pull some of Admiral Ariok's attention away, that would indeed be... That would really take the pressure off some systems.
I'd be on board with that. And truth be told,
But also, if there are other strategies you wish to pursue, it's not the only strategy.
no, I think, speaking personally, I like it. I'd much rather go in, and doubly so if these exarchs are the ones promoted are based on competency, not rather than hereditary inheritance.
Certainly based on
I'd much
competency.
I'd much rather knock off a competent opponent than let the political the aristocrats tear each other to shreds.
Yep.
And I looked real fine. I assume you might have some scores you might want to settle too, if those rumors are true.
Well, I think it's good to free the androids where we're able. I did some work with some liberation stuff a bit ago, and I'm not opposed to doing more of that. That sounds good.
I think we got us a plan.
As long as there are, places that can actually sustain these trees.
Perhaps you could
Do-
find a way to
Understood.
create a place that would sustain these trees.
Could do a little bit of
Definitely.
terraforming.
I will say, this might be a dangerous side mission. But if there is anyone that could help you find a way to, make this tree grow in harsher conditions, or think of a way to do that, some of our best arbalists are in the Keraton system. That is one of our 7 main systems. Sorry, I'm just throwing lore words at you guys tonight.
Yeah, it's all. We need to say, hey, today was gonna be a lore dump since this is our first real meeting with the high rollers in the biocracy.
Mm-hmm.
You need them evacuated.
The main city, well, main planet and a city. The planet Synthesis. It is a... Have you ever been to those, a city planet, where, the whole fucking planet is just all metal city?
Close enough. The Absalom station in the Pact Worlds is kind of similar, but I've seen
Admittedly, Absalom Station is pretty small compared to a planet.
I've seen some of it. I've seen. I don't think out of character, Ben. I don't think the Pact Worlds have any full economic.
They don't really have, a full Coruscant equivalent. But think
But I would think
Coruscant.
I'm thinking what is it, Verces, where the entire Terminator is like a city.
The whole title, or solar divide, much like the planet you guys are on, Verces is a tidally locked planet, and the Twilight Belt has 12 city-states that are all in a circle.
I mean, Alluvion is literally a created city that is
Yeah, in the drift.
maybe to some extent part of Triune in the Drift.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
So,
but that is a good
Refine
point.
certainly has been to a world that is effectively an entire city.
Get something similar.
Synthesis
In the Pact Worlds.
is like that. But imagine a forest. The whole planet is a forest, and we live in the trees.
Okay.
Every tree is a tree and a building. And it is all one connected city. Well, I suppose I should say was one connected city. unfortunately, Admiral Ariok has... That is one of our most heavily sieged systems, especially that planet.
Understood.
Do you think you could make it there? And I will understand if you say no.
It'll help us get. If it'll help us make this, for lack of a better term, biological gateways work. If it could help turn the war in your favor, I think it's worth it. I talked a big game about us being a blockade runner. So, what do you all think? Think it's worth it? I think, personally, I'd be about it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Very well.
excellent. I love
If you can
navigation.
get there, one of our... I am hopeful, at least from the last communiques we've received, one of our best arbalists, biocratic arbalist, Joanne. Biocratic arbalist, Joanne. Indeed, she used to be on the council. Again, the council member, we are elected officials. It's not so much that she aged out. She did get very old, by our reckoning. And rather than stay in the political sphere, she went wholly back to her science. She should be safe, as one can be on Synthesis, in one of our controlled sections of the city planet. If you could slip in there, she would be the one who could help us pull off this plan.
All right.
Very well.
Is
Ben,
Yeah.
there a way that we can make it so our ship does not come across as not working with you all to biocracy systems? I don't know if there's some sort of pheromone thing or something like that that we could
Do you want it? You want it to appear as a biocracy vessel or not?
No, just in an ideal case, the biocracy would not view us as an Aslanti vessel solely because we have a metal vessel.
yeah, I'm worried they may not know we're coming to help. They may think we're an experimental Aslanti
And
warship.
sending
Admittedly, it's not green, but still.
any sort
Well,
of
not all their ships are
communique-
green. The Vanguard
sending any
Comet's
sort
like
of communique
yellow.
would
silver.
risk alerting the biocracy.
You mean
At
the
the
Aslanti?
same time, the Aslanti, yes. At the
Okay.
same time, I wonder if it would make sense for us to plant one of these portal trees on Synthesis so that there is at least some manner of evacuation possible if the worst comes to pass.
Or for reinforcements if it comes to that.
Or for reinforcements if it comes to pass.
Can you give us a little bit more impression of what the fighting is like on Synthesis right now? Is it predominantly an orbital siege?
There is orbital combat. From time to time, one empire or the other wrests control of the skies over Synthesis. It is a brutal and ongoing ground war. Have you all ever been to a real war zone? Now, I know you've seen combat, but have you been to war?
Sean chuckles. I was a combat dropship pilot, very much so.
Then perhaps you will be more prepared than I give you credit for.
There's one other thing I should note, if it comes to it. This is an unusual capability. I try not to advertise it, but it is something you should be aware of for our ship. The main gun on it also, among other things, serves as an orbital weapon.
A ship of your size continues to impress.
We put a great deal of work into it, and a great deal of technology that if certain groups knew we had, we would probably be under more NDAs.
Well, I
There's
am impressed
another-
nonetheless.
So, I will say, among other things,
A lot of the key strongholds, both ours and theirs, are protected, typically with some sort of shielding. But I will say
Understood.
it is most certainly possible that an orbital weapon could greatly aid key battles there.
we'll keep an eye out for targets of opportunity.
Yes.
I think we'll stay focused on the primary mission. If you think that on our way in, we can bring materials or troops to the surface, we can make use of both sides of the trip. But at the same time, we'll stay focused on the main objective, but keep an eye out for it. At least wanted to let you know there are other options for targets of opportunity to try and help you break the siege.
Some of our most powerful war beasts are there. To put a number on it, I would say where the forest city once stretched the whole planet, I would say at least a third of it is burnt in ashes.
Chuck grimaces at that one.
It is appalling. Very well.
Alright then.
It sounds like we have a plan. I want to thank all of you. And I expect things will get quite hairy there. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right,
And
thank you.
before we leave, we should deal with the prescience crystal thing so that you guys
Yes.
can start studying that.
Also, there's one other thing, Ben.
Mhm.
We haven't gotten XP yet for getting off the Star Fortress.
That's true.
That's true. I was thinking that earlier, but we were like mid conversation.
We'll deal with that after the bathroom break.
Okay, I think this is a good time for a break. We did a lot in a row. We'll come back in about 5 minutes.
Cuckoo.
All right, be right back. All right, we are back. First of all, come on, Roll20. Let's not freak out here. Okay, first of all, via all the story rewards, the brief combat, both the story reward of escaping the Sage Redoubt, and finally doing the story reward of linking up with the main body of the Biocracy. We're going to combine all those rewards together, and everyone is going to get 35,000 XP. It should be a pretty decent chunk towards your next level.
Still got a ways to go, but we should
We're
be
at
up at around
479, 994 or 995, 945.
945. Yeah, so 479, 945. Yep, that's what I have too.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need 600,000 to level up.
Yeah.
We're getting there. I mean, we started 425. That's a big chunk of it.
All right.
Oh yeah, that was about a seventh.
Follow up. In terms of supplies, and we'll deal with getting the crystal out in a minute. In terms of supplies, like Trice and outfit them with what they require. I know we haven't been doing a lot of traditional credit stuff. However, the both from the vaults already existing on the base and just the very like Biocracy scientists they have here, all of you can select one item of Starfinder gear from whatever official book you want to look at. Everyone can select one item of up to a value. God, sorry, that was hard to explain. Up to a value of 113,000 credits.
Pardon me, I'm going shopping.
You can split that in half, but I'm gonna limit it there. You can either get one really expensive item or two half expensive items. Take your time to think about that. Go ahead.
So wait, is that credit value, is that for each of us or for the group?
For each of you.
Yeah, I'm going shopping too.
They're sending you guys to one of the most besieged planets in this war. Once you pick that item, be it like weapon, tech item, magic item, like whatever, tell me what it is, and I will tell you what Biocracy version of that thing they are actually handing you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Like if
think I
you
have
get
it.
like the most expensive grenade that's 113,000 credits for some reason, I'll tell you it's like an apple that explodes. I don't know.
I'm 99% certain I know what I'm getting, but I am looking real quick at some other stuff.
That is canonically one of the magic plants you can get in the Ultimate Wilderness book from Pathfinder 1. I think it's like might be explosive apples or something like that.
I'm really tempted.
Oh, sorry, they're called
Yeah.
fire apples.
I'm really tempted to get a biotech augmentation that would let me remove one of my pairs of wings, which would let me have a second system. Basically, it would give me a permanent flight speed, which is nice.
It's pretty spicy.
And of 90 feet instead of 60.
Oof, that's fast.
This wouldn't be the same in space. In space, it would still be 60. But the most important thing is it would mean that I don't have two things in my spinal column anymore, which means I have, because these wings are on the arms for some ungodly reason, which means I am suddenly free to have another thing that's overlapping in a system again, which
Good
I'm
lord.
very tempted by. The problem is it's like 30,000 credits below what we're allowed,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm not sure if that's worthwhile. So I'm gonna look at some stuff. But yes, shopping is very nice. I could get that.
I think this kind of like surprises Yo a little bit, and they're like, Captain, you mean like I can actually like buy stuff? I don't have to like steal it? It seems like a foreign concept to them.
Even better, they're gifting it to us.
What's
Trice just like staring at
and
you guys from behind, just like shaking his head.
and they're just like, what's the angle here, Captain?
The angle is they're paying. This is essentially them paying us for doing an incredibly dangerous job. They're being outfitting us right.
Ah, okay, I gotcha.
This is, I know you've been working for the consortium for quite some time, yo, but this is working for an employer who's trying to help us succeed. Because if we win, they win.
All right, I gotcha. It's just, it's everything with the consortium and it's always kind of like cryptic and such. Like here, like
Well, so think of it this way, yo. Consortium is one of the premier, alright, criminal is a strong word, but shall we say it's one of the premier corporations in packed world space, correct?
oh yes, absolutely.
100%.
Think of it this way: the consortium is in a dominant position. They are not on necessarily the back foot. In my opinion, in my reckoning, usually these folks are looking for us to help them retake the initiative in a foe that's slowly pushing them back. In this particular case, they're choosing to do it, look asking for somebody for help and look at paying them honestly for it. That gives them good graces if we can able reestablish communications with the Pact worlds. I guarantee it. If as soon as I can get communication back to Captain Ironstar, there'll be probably a couple of Vesk battle groups looking to get some payback against the Aslanti. As soon as once they realize they're not alone in that fight. Making friends, it's what it's about. Especially when you're dealing with massive ass hats like the Aslanti.
Mm. I got you, Captain.
So it's very different when you're dealing with empires and warfare. It's a very different animal from the consortium. They can be just as underhanded and brutal, but oftentimes in those kinds of wars, ain't nothing like having the best of compatriots with you.
Uh, I cert. Well, I'm certainly coming along. I'm certainly going to be along for the ride, Captain. I mean, you guys are my ticket to rank 7 and higher.
I think you'll be. I have a feeling by the end of this, you'll do more than that.
It's fair.
Figured out what I want to get.
Hit me with it.
A sting pistol, wasp version.
Sting pistols. I love that they're labeled as like Yellow Jacket Wasp Hornet. Okay. Ooh, they're already living weapons. Yeah, I mean, I think you find that they have a extremely, like, you find a version of this that is just bred to perfection. So sting pistols, Archive Nethys list them as living weapons based on samples of swarm technology. In this case, it'll be technology developed by the Biocracy itself. The weapons convert power to internally generate and shoot acid-slicked needles that can cause lasting damage to the target.
It's basically like a flesh borer rifle.
Yeah, it's like a flesh bore rifle. That fucking rules. Yeah, absolutely. You like tell them like that I want to do, a lot of damage. I need like a small handheld gun. And I think Trison like personally recommends this to you. He's like, try this as one of our sting pistols.
It's on a wasp that turns into a fireball.
It's so sick. I feel like you see like it literally theirs is like a living wasp that kind of just crawls down and sits on your belt, and when it's on your belt it looks just like a big bug, and then you like when you draw it, quote unquote, it like folds up into the pistol shape as you pull it forward. Hell yeah, that is a great choice.
And it costs 113.
I was just like,
That's
it's exactly
nice.
113,000.
I went by small arms and I went to like as close
Just
as I
sort
could
by
get.
price of small arms. I mean, look, yeah, perfect. I will say 113,000 is like the recommended fucking level 15 value for like gaining big wealth or like gaining wealth increments.
Just not in the compendium. I'll have to add it manually.
Yeah, I think is it not in the compendium? It fucking should be. I
I'll
have
try
the
to find
armory
it.
book. Huh. Yeah, I don't see it in mine either. Maybe I don't have the armory book? Things to investigate after the stream. That's odd. I could have sworn I mean, I definitely have it in real life. I can literally see it on the shelf to my left. But maybe I did not have it uploaded here. Okay. While people are thinking of what they want to get as well, Refine, I think you are bundled into one of their fighter craft. One of the Ceratons with a scientist and a Biocracy Navy pilot.
As she's furiously sketching the inside of it.
Yeah, just truly taking captures of everything.
Truly a tourist.
The pilot's like, "Ma'am, I'm here to take us out to not really sure why, but some sort of minimum safe distance."
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. You see he seems a little nervous because it's a little vague, but he kind of drags his hand over, not even controls, almost inlaid buttons and touch sensors inside this beetle-like creature. It opens its outer wing casing, that glowing bluish energy that you saw last time when they were swarming around the tick creature begins to glow out of its outer wing case. You see it does fold out its actual physical inner wings, like the thin translucent ones, tucks in its legs, uses those little wings to lift off the deck, and once it's high enough, those fold back in. The energies that power under the wings propel it forward out of the launch bay.
Not bad.
You guys get out to a pretty decent, you can see in the distance the station and various pods of Omu going around. The scientist's so my understanding is that there is a liquid containment component to this, correct?
Yes.
Very well. You see she touches her collar, and what looks literally a bubble you would blow yourself, grows up over her head, and she's like, "Pilot, you can seal us in the back cabin. We are going to go out into the void." He's like, "All right, coming to a stop. There's some safety tethers back there. You can tether yourselves in." I see she quickly hooks one to her belt. She offers you one.
Refine will pass.
She's like,
I have my own ways of being stable in the void.
"Oh, very well. Well, just in case, I will do mine nonetheless. Kind of a safety protocol thing."
Totally understandable.
God, that's so much acid damage. Jesus Christ. Just looking at the background.
What the sound of that? Okay.
Did you guys hear that?
Yes, we did. Yeah, no. Nick's boss rolled a test.
Oh,
roll.
okay.
God.
He's just
Fucking-
rolling a disintegrate worth of damage to you.
It's so heinous. Plus 20 is so heinous. God, I love high level play is so crazy. Sorry, distracted by that. Refine, she pushes herself out via the tether out into the void.
Yeah, I will just let the void light wings unfurl and fly out over next to her.
She seems fascinated by those. She's like, "Are those biological? Are they they're? You're not. Not trying to insult you. You're not traditionally biological."
They are biological. They are a graft of, I believe it's been out of character. Is it? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Is it the S word?
It is Sarcesian.
I think it's Sarcesian.
Yeah, Sarcesian.
Yeah,
Leanings.
it's Sarcesian.
And then of course I don't need to breathe naturally.
You see her bubble kind of like quivers a little bit. You do see that like, there are like brief moments. Like, have you ever seen a bubble freeze in real time? Is this a crazy thing that I dealt with because I lived in Minnesota?
No, I've seen it.
Okay. We would. Oh my god, dude, the stand on my light is like broken. Truly, I'm falling apart today, guys. Come on, light. Can I at least balance you for a fucking minute? Alright, well, that's not perfect, but it'll do... No, it won't. It fell. Okay, well, I'll deal with that in a minute. You see it, like, periodically beginning to frost over like that. But the bubble seems to have some natural deterrent that, like, stops that from happening every so often.
Makes sense.
Okay, well, that light is kind of fucked up, but we're gonna live and let live right now. Like, she's, like, kind of gestures for you to continue. See, she's, like, literally, like, backs up a little bit. You see she has, like, some small maneuvering capability, simply, like, releasing bursts of probably not pure oxygen, like some sort of propellant gas out of her gloves. Do you open it up?
Open what up?
Like, do you, like, let SB out?
Are you ready for me to try this?
As ready as I'll ever be. I know the risks.
All right, I will do so, and SP will just kind of crawl out, probably onto my arm rather largely, because SP is small, but still sizable enough.
Dog-sized, right? Like, still decently big.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of uncomfortable. Yeah, she, like, crawls, like, is kind of squatting on you. This bitch is like, oh,
SP does have climbing attachments, so...
It's true. Yeah, like, no effort required on her part. The other woman's just like, oh, okay. SB, like, opens up the surface compartment, and you see the woman comes over and is, like, holding her glove, which you see is kind of like, it looks almost like rhino skin. But you presume it has, like, some sort of sensors in the fingertips that, like, she passes over the liquid in the crystal. You do see that there is, like, a faint, like, pale green light basically emanating from the crystal through the liquid out of SB.
Okay.
You see she kind of, like, checks... Again, you've seen them use, like, those, like, weird data pads that are, like, actually creatures. She's, like, scrolling through one of those, like, seems to be linked to her glove sensors. I do think you were correct in your initial assessment that oxygen, or at least in an environment that has some amount of oxygen in the atmosphere, would set this off to some sort of chain reaction. I think it would compound itself very quickly, and indeed release a potentially very harmful burst of energy. I do believe that it would be fine in the void of space, or indeed just any sort of vacuum sealed vessel that we might have, or container.
Okay.
So you could do you want to test it?
Sure.
You kind of, like, reach in very carefully. Give me just, like, either a dexterity or a sleight of hand check.
31.
You, like, it, like playing Operation. The crystal doesn't even touch the sides of SB on the way out. There's a brief hesitation. It's like right at this, like, right below the surface of the liquid. You're like, You see she's, like, very surreptitiously, like, using the gas jets from her hands to, like, slowly back up. She's, like, trying not to be, like, obviously, because, like, it was kind of rude of me to bail, but I'm gonna bail a little bit. But you bring it out into the vacuum, and it seems stable.
Okay.
I am gonna say, now that you are, like, holding, like, no medium in the way, a piece of Project Prescience, I'm gonna say, give me another, give me a mysticism check, as you are, like, kind of looming out here.
You know what this seems like a great time for?
Is it
Well,
19?
let's roll in case I get a nat 20.
That would be insane. That would be insane as timing.
This seems like a great time for a 19.
Okay, so that's an additional 11 on top of that, right? So 42?
Yes.
Fittingly, the meaning of life, universe, and the everything.
Yeah, great number. A+ number. Put that on an
42.
S tier in a number tier list. I will say, I do greatly enjoy people make comedic tier lists. It's so funny to me. I watched a video of someone making a tier list of the tiers earlier. Like, obviously, S rank and F rank are both in S rank because they're both critically important to the tier ranking system. Okay. Having it out here, you can see, like, kind of, there is this internal energy that it already possesses. You think probably when they're making or growing these, how they're doing it is just kind of imbued with this energy. This is its own energy. You think it needs something else in the equation. The energy that's in it right now, it could be both a power source. It could honestly even be a way of encoding information. Like, they read the energy at the receiving station. But you realize that prescience, like the crystal in and of itself, is not the only factor of doing the time travel stuff.
Okay.
You would presume it needs, like, almost, you know that it, like, goes to a receiving station. It needs an external device that presumably is what is giving it the energy from the plane of time.
Okay.
But you would know that, like, this crystal by itself, if they couldn't just, like, fire this crystal out of the ship and have this go to the receiving station and deliver the message.
Okay.
You now have, like, you probably could have suspected this already, but, like, you have confirmation that there is the receiving mechanism, which is probably simpler, but there's a very important sending mechanism that you don't have.
Okay.
Okay. Do I get any sense on why I felt nauseous last time it entered the tattoo?
You were feeling nauseous. You think there is something about the energy that these things give off. When they're giving off power in waves, it's not quite normal radiation, but it is destabilizing for biological life, or even just, like, not biological, sentient life. Much like in the way that radiation kind of, like, tears apart cellular walls on that microscopic level, this is doing something, like, this wouldn't, like, it wouldn't have made, like, a small animal that's not as sentient as humans or as androids feel queasy. It is disruptive of your sentient self. Could be disruptive of, like, one could argue a soul. But whatever energy these things give off is kind of, like, anemic to your being.
Okay. And is there a reason it did this the second time it entered the tattoo, not the first time?
You think it might just be a matter of, like, you were bringing a charged, powerful, like, magical item that already is kind of designed to interact with space-time in a weird way, in and out of an extra-dimensional space, and that was maybe fucking with it.
Okay.
I think Refined Will is now, like, not as dangerous as exposing to oxygen, but you think repeated use of putting something like this into an extra-dimensional space of any kind, not great.
Yeah, okay. Refine will not note that to the party next time that comes, if that ever comes up.
Just not admit that. Incredible.
Not bring it up. Not an important factor.
Yeah, to just kind of like recap it in like a general way, it's almost like a radiation of the soul.
Okay.
And that is without even like this one hasn't even been affected by the plane of time.
Yeah. So do I think that I have already, like, there will be consequences for what I've already done, or do I think that I'm fine at the moment?
I think honestly, that would probably be a mysticism check or a life science check just on yourself, or a medicine check on yourself.
Okay. Let's see, which is better. Medicine's better.
Okay.
Terrible roll.
What is the word in real life? Introception, I believe. Or interoception. Either way, it's a word in real life that basically refers to a person's ability to feel what's going on in their own body. Something that kids develop, and then like you develop more as you grow up. Like, it's stuff like when you guys were growing up, there is a point where you're like, oh, I can feel that I need to pee. Like, I feel that sensation inside my body. With that same sense, like interoception, Refine, you feel like that was probably a little damaging to like the sentient part of your life, but not in a way that like time's not just gonna heal.
Okay.
Like, it would be like if you got mild radiation poisoning and took like iodine and the proper medicine for that, like as long as it wasn't too severe or too like an issue of degree or length of exposure, then you're probably fine. Like, just stay away from it for like a couple weeks. You do get the sense, like, I think you would recognize on a 32, like, that is the issue. If you either were by a very powerful example of this, it would have really hurt you quickly. Or if you had just, like, if you had just kept this in your tattoo for, like, weeks at a time, that also probably would have degraded you.
Okay.
Interesting, like, that explains why all of us, even Scythe, were getting, this is out of character, but even Scythe was feeling the effects when the crystals were going off next to us in the factory.
That is why Scythe was feeling it as well, even though he was an SRO.
He is still sentient, he has a soul.
Mm-hmm.
A bitter, twisted one might have been, but still.
Finally,
so this unit does have a soul.
It is that kind of energy, yeah.
That... Okay, this is gonna sound crazy.
Hit me.
Do I think that Refine could, with time spent doing research, figure out a way to make it so this effect would not affect Refine?
Oh, interesting.
Given that androids are fairly easily augmentable, and I grew up in, like, the place that is just constantly a weird trip of space-time.
Oh, yeah. No, it's real fuck you where it refines from. I would say... I think it's another mysticism check. Because, like, your engineering is good, but I think you have to have a knowledge of the mystical here to then engineer something for yourself.
Okay. Can I defer this mysticism check to a later project for Refine instead of, like, a right now thing?
Sure. Are you hoping to try to get a better roll from your ability later?
Not exactly. That's a nice benefit, but the more reason is I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to buy.
Gotcha.
For
yeah, I mean, I think, you know, you're in charge of your character there. I think she is more than capable of, like, you know, like, she has all these realizations I've described, and then she is like, could I build something to resist this? I'm in the void of space right now with a scientist. We'll figure this out later.
Yeah.
We only have a tech lab on the ship where she can work on that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think if you are
But-
okay with it, I do think the scientist offers, like, she holds up literally looks like a pill bug, and she's like, I know this looks just like an animal, but it is capable of pumping the air out of the center of it when it curls up into a sphere. I could vacuum seal it
Yeah.
in this.
For sure. I'm just gonna warn you, this thing is unpleasant to sentient life if it's around it too long. So I would try and find a way for you and the others who are studying this to take some safety precautions.
Noted. Okay.
Can I help out with this? Is the system check?
Yeah, we can cut back to, like, you getting back. I assume you fill in everyone on all this.
I'm not going to fill them in on the fact that Refine was experiencing this while it was in the tattoo, but I will fill them in on the rest of it. Shaw can probably put two and two together, but
He won't say anything. I think Shaw would figure out you're trying to be discreet and not scare other people. But
yeah.
Wait, so do you tell Rin about that it can be damaging?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Yes.
Then
I'm
I would
just
say
not saying that it was damaging in the time frame I was in.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm with it. Yeah, I would say Rin, if you want to make a mysticism check on that. I think that would be more than reasonable, considering the data that Refine has already collected. What we got? Jesus Christ, a 2 on the dice.
I do not have a reroll.
I think on a 26, Rin? Or do you want to reroll it?
Yeah, I got channel points.
Okay. Your guys' fucking party and your ability to do this, to just turn ones into ones and twos into twos is unprecedented.
Particularly for JV, I have it the
I think
worst.
I had like 6 rolls the other day that like none of them were higher than a 5 during that teleport thing.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, oh yeah, when you were trying to punch through the wards. That was crazy. Okay, well, on a 26,
I tried.
you did try. You can try again at a later date as well, I will say. But I think on a 26 here, Rin, it occurs to you that, yes, there could be a way to build a protection against this. I think you know enough, Rin, that you have this innate feeling. This is like a magical problem. Like, this is something to build with wards and spells and sigils. You can't think of a technological way, or maybe like a biocracy way of doing this. Like, this is a corely magical effect, and I think Refine telling you, there's less really schools of magic in Starfinder as there are in Pathfinder, but for lack of a better term, it's almost divine in nature because it can harm a soul. So I think Rin knows of, like, yes, this is possible. This is an issue of, to get the right spell or ward, you don't know how to do it right now.
I don't think tech masters really know any divine kind of magic, do they?
The thing about magic in Starfinder, as I understand it, is a lot of it has kind of been like, all those labels have kind of been tossed to the wayside largely. Like, a lot of the general consensus, like, magic is a force in the universe, like gravity, like time. And most, like, practitioners of it don't really, like some of them might still clarify like what kind of caster they are, quote unquote. But there has been such a long study of like what the actual essence of magic is that I do think Rin could research divine magic spells, for example. Like, it's more that you're like researching a way that magic interacts with the universe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I just pulled up one of the things that the Galaxy Exploration Manual describes it as is magic is like a pervasive field of eldritch energy that ebbs and flows in different regions and even on entire worlds. Though magic manifests in near infinite ways, its underlying functions seldom vary in such extremes as to change the way it works from the expected norms, excuse me. All right. They've got the crystal. They're going to get to studying that. They're outfitting you guys with gear.
Which, Ben, I've decided on mine.
Okay.
Oh yes, and I've decided on mine as well.
Okay. Shaw first, then Yo.
Alright, so Shaw looks over to the folks in the who are doing the armor, and I point to his long-serving and very trusty White Star Plasma Array, which I'm guessing at this point, because since I first used it at the tower in on Absalom Station, it's now just like scored, beaten up, scuffed. I have put it through God knows what and hell
Oh,
and
for
back.
sure.
Got anything that can upgrade this? So
Like a blue star
I make
plasma.
notes about exactly.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
I don't know. So an idea I had, and obviously run with this however you think.
I have an idea,
I
but
kind of
hit me
had
with it.
You know the blue bioplasma scream that the Screamer Killer does in the 10th edition trailer? I'm kind of picturing something like that, but like Gatling style.
In which trailer?
Remember
In the Leviathan trailer?
Yeah, where it picks up the marine and just screams plasma all over his
Yeah.
face.
Okay. That's close to what I was thinking, or like same vibes. I think he like has you shoot it for him at their shooting range. It's like, okay, so it supercharges. It's like superheated gas, makes plasma. Okay. He calls over the armorer and he's like, plasma. That's what he's after here. And the armorer's like, yes. Come with me. I'll help you. He opens like, there are certainly like traditional armory, like racks of weapons. A lot of the armory has just straight up cages where animals are in them. Or like, some of them are even like big, like tanks, like that would be at a zoo, like multiple animals of the same species are hanging out. He leads you over to leads you over to a tank with a bunch of large lizards that are about the size of your previous cannon. You look at them, they do seem familiar, and you realize they look similar to the plasmalisks that you guys found that had gone rogue because they had Aslanti tech implanted on them.
Mm-hmm.
You see one of them looks at you and kind of like it flexes its neck, and a big like lizard frill pops up behind it in a threat display. And he's like, these little beauties are frilled plasmalisks. You see he pulls one out. It kind of runs up his arm. It like, you see it wrap its tail around like his bicep or like his upper shoulder. It rests its front legs. It kind of puts its hands together almost like fist to fist and rests them in his hand. You see he points it down the range, squeezes where its feet meet, like are touching each other, its frill opens up. You see like gas and electricity crackle around it. It opens its mouth and just like rapid fire pulses of that bioplasma like shoot forward.
Excellent. Let's figure out how we can get this fellow comfy on my power armor then. And then I'll work with him on figuring out how we work it with the mounts.
Yeah.
Because like there's other things like oftentimes I'm having to work in vacuum, things like we'll figure that out. But I kind of like figure there's like almost like a life support apparatus on.
Yeah, he makes
now,
it like a
so.
life support apparatus that like links it directly into the suit systems.
So.
Yeah. So you get a frilled plasmalisk as your blue star plasma cannon.
Awesome. I will put the old one in the bag. And then I'm helping Refine with her shopping too. So go ahead, Yo.
Okay.
Alright,
Yeah,
so
Yo,
I'm-
what are you looking for?
Yeah, so I'm basically flavoring how they find this is that Yo's kind of trying to figure out what they want to get because, you know, it's like, all right, I want something that's going to help me, but I'm not really sure. Like here, and they're just like looking through this market like here, and imagine they probably find a stall selling basically like antiques, or at least in this term, like antiques in quotes, like basically like old, what would basically be considered like old timey, ship stuff, you know, from like the what they say is like, you know, supposedly before the Gap technology, but they probably figure it's just something like they just found a bunch of junk and they're just trying to use it to up the sale price. Yeah, but they find something interesting, which the flavor text says is an archaic ornate compass with stylized flower petals around its circumference and a skeletal finger in place of a needle.
What is this called?
It is a Besmarin rose.
Besmar? Oh, from the pirate goddess.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So it's
skeletal finger in place of a needle.
It's a bit wordy, but the short version is once per week, I can feed it a drop of blood, name an object, person, or place anywhere in the galaxy, and you, GM, roll to see if it gives me a magical vision of a clue of where to find it. And if it does, it says that I can... let's see here. I can rest at atop a starship's vehicle's controls, granting the pilot a +10 bonus to astrogate and navigate to the location.
That is very cool.
Yeah, I guess they just sort of look at it, and it's like they've never, you know, it's like they're, you know, Yo's familiar with like, you know, at least like the basics of like navigation technology, but they've like never seen anything like this before. So they just sort of like point at it and say like, "Hey, what's this thing?"
You roam the facility for a while, like the station, and you do kind of come across where, kind of their magic department is. They are definitely not as prolific a casting civilization as the Aslanti, but you point at what looks to be, again, it is that like beautiful compass shape. It's basically almost like a pocket watch, like one of those compasses that close. You see those stylized patterns all around it, and when it's opened, you see that there is what looks to be some sort of like small skeleton of a... Oh my god, I can't think of the right word. Of a rodent. Like a mouse. The caster's like, good eye. You see, I don't get to show this piece off a lot. Not a lot of my fellow casters around here, obviously, to talk to about this, but you see that little skeleton in there? Little mouse skeleton?
Huh?
It was bred for our scout soldiers to be a hunting aid. It's very small, very hard to see, and it would, via a mental link with its partner, would be able to scout forward and kind of relay images. I did some magic that admittedly is not the most popular amongst my people, and returned one to active duty, shall we say, as he gestures at, like, the obviously skeleton. If you give it a little bit of your essence, like your blood, it will circle inside the compass until it's able to magically show you where to go with what you're seeking.
Interesting. And I imagine this sort of ability and your discretion in such things would fetch a fairly high price, I assume.
I could be willing to let go of this experimental item for, well, quite a high value, shall we say. And you're able to, like, barter it with, like, the basically the credit that you were given.
I say, like, and, you know, they'll grit, it's like, their grin's so wide it's even noticeable underneath the mask, and they'll be like, don't worry, I'll be sure to take good care of it.
Alright.
You get, like, this necromantic seeker compass.
It just seemed pretty useful, and also because, like, way back, it's like someone I knew did sort of, like, adapted Skull and Shackles to 5e D&D, and it's like
pretty tight.
well, it's like
Skull and Shackles is good.
yeah, yeah, it's like, and that's the thing, like, name Besmar was like, why does that sound so familiar?
Besmara is so sick. There's I think Archive finally added it. Archive for a while was one of the only places you get, like, the full text from some of the books, and even then, it doesn't have everything. But one of my favorite books, I think I recommended Nix to buy it too, the, like, Inner Sea Gods book from 1E.
Yeah, I want to pick it up at some point.
Oh, it's so good. But, like, it
I
gives...
got the 2E one, but I don't have the 1E one.
I think the 1E one is better? I remember I looked through the 2E one. I don't think I bought it yet, but I have it somewhere. Or I like, went through it at the game store.
Yeah.
I do still want to get it because it is still relevant. But the 1E one had a lot of, like, really good, like, it had examples of prayers for the different deities.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
really
the 1E
cool
one was
lore
better.
stuff.
I've seen some of it.
But one of the Besmara things, the pirate goddess, is one... There's always, like, little, like, ways that you can, like, see a god's favor in the real world. One way that people would see Besmara's favor is, like, they would flick a gold coin, and it would just keep spinning instead of falling. And that would be like, oh, you caught the eye of the pirate goddess.
Besmar is one of the coolest deities, for sure.
Besmara...
It was
I think...
It was
she's
also
made-
funny because I ended up getting into that campaign because I pitched to the DM, like, hey, can I play a Tabaxi version of Django from Django Unchained? And he just immediately said, absolutely.
I love that.
No, Besmar doesn't quite make it into, like, my top few, but Besmar is quite high up there, for sure.
She's definitely way up there. Okay.
The problem is so many of them are so interesting.
Look, Paizo kills it with the lore. What can I say? I'm a big fan.
They do.
What are you looking for, then?
Alright. So, I've decided that I am not going to take what's the best item for me to take, because Refine would get an augmentation for sure.
Okay.
I think I am going to go with the wings, actually. Even though it's probably worse than the other augmentation, it gives me many more possibilities later.
What are the wings called? Like the actual item?
Ultralight Wings Dragon.
God, I love when Starfinder items just are the same thing but have tiers. Oh yeah, Strix Angel Dragon is so cool. That's a great tier system.
Yeah, absolutely.
It also sounds like the name of someone's fursona.
And it will finally let me get rid of one of my other pairs of wings, which frees up a shocking amount
of slots.
buildability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Hmm. I think you end up kind of in the same armory as Shaw. The guy's like, turns to you, like, not everything here is a weapon per se. You are looking for something to improve your flight capabilities. Now, I know in some cultures the word parasite has some negative connotations. But you see he's like, but check this out. You see he, like, fully just starts unzipping the top of his fucking, like Navy uniform jumpsuit, lowers it over his arms, and turns out this dude is, like, first of all, classic quartermaster, but he's just this ripped soldier.
Sure.
But you see, like, turns around, kind of flexing a little to show off, but, like, it's not the main point.
Yeah.
He's like, this is a dracospinal parasite. You see, at first you're like, is that like a textured tattoo? Like, it's pretty flat to his skin. And at first it looks like a tattoo of a dragon. And then you realize it is a very, like, flat dragon that, judging from the way the claws are thin and long, looks like they're extending into his body to, like, link to him.
Sure.
Then he rolls his shoulder back, and where there were these, like, thin, membranous wings so flat as to, like, almost be looking like a tattoo, you see the wings fold out and just keep folding out to, like, an improbable width.
Hell yeah, that's
So, like,
awesome.
Like, the main dragon body of the dracospinal parasite is, like, it's mostly just down his spine, maybe like a couple inches to either side. And then just starts, like full humanoid angel wingspan of, like, these membranous dragon wings come out of it.
Yeah, works for me.
He's like, now, you will notice I'm not wearing the right uniform for this. You will have to put slots in the back of your
Yes.
whatever you're wearing,
Yes.
so the wings can go through.
I'm aware of that, yes.
Alright. You see he, like, flexes his shoulders, they fold back in, and he, like zips the suit back up over it. And he's like, honestly, pretty comfortable. Not bad. I will say,
Hell yeah.
I don't know how much your kind eats, per se, or however you gain your energy. It will sap some of your energy. It is a full parasite.
That's fine. I can live with that.
He's like, I eat a lot more at the mess hall now that I have this on my back. Alright, sick. Everyone got, like, a big, pricey item.
Ben, there was one other thing.
Yeah, you know me.
So Nix and I were talking, and I still, I've been going through the loot and talking with Nix and trying to figure out if we can't. This is separate, not one of the gifted items, but if we could scrounge together enough cheddar and all of the Aeon stuff we've looted to go ahead and get her a better set of armor. So between. So let's see. So Nix, you and I have about 35,000 credits between us. You have, okay, I see what you're saying.
Is there a
with the
suit
item
you have
there.
in mind?
Yes, she sent it to me. Nix, if you could send that to Ben.
Well, that
It was
that
like
was
80
just
But that was the top tier one?
that was just
I mean,
the most expensive one that I could find that worked given the price range, right? Like I could get
Yeah.
something cheaper.
We can definitely get you something that's, like, at least
I would
for
say,
what we can scrounge together.
if one of you, or if you want Yo to help negotiate this, if you want to try to strike a, like, roll diplomacy and strike to, like, hey, like, we'll trade you this stuff that is gear really not, like, endemic of your culture, but might be of interest to some of the more, like, scientific crew aboard this station.
Exactly, because, like, what we've got, so as far as what we still have is I've got a couple of the minor melee weapons from the Aeon Guard. We have 3 of their velocity rifles, 3 of the Corona laser pistols, 2 of the improved Aeon Guard assault rifles, 5 sets of their armor, including 3 of the Spec Ops ones. The ones I think they might be most of interest are 5 clear spindle Aeon stones and 3 purple sphere Aeon stones.
I think those would definitely be more interest.
We also have a set of Magitech wings.
Oh yeah,
that
that
are
you
no
no longer
longer
use.
in use.
Okay. I think that's probably the most interesting thing to them. They definitely have a lot of, as you might imagine, Aeon loot from the war.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say if you guys want to get Yo to help you make a diplomacy check against these station personnel,
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a harder DC if you were just offering them Aeon gear, which is still admittedly useful to them for like research and stuff. But if you're also offering the wings, I think that'd be an easier DC.
I'm also willing to offer some of my older weapons if they find them at all useful. I don't know if the artillery laser or the plasma array are of any use to them.
Okay.
But...
I'd say the White Star plasma array might be of use to them. So, Yo, do you want to make a diplomacy check for them? Like, try to... You see the Shaw and Refine plotting this, and you overhear, and you're like, that's not their beat.
I'm imagining Yo's sort of like sounding like a used car salesman, just sort of like talking up about trying to talk up all this equipment, and it's like, come on, at these prices, we're practically giving them away.
Yeah, give me a diplomacy check.
Whoa, 38.
38. Fucking 18 on the die. Jesus. Yeah, I think if you guys want to mark that previous gear off your lists, and I'm gonna say Refine with all of that gear. What's your current armor worth? What armor are you wearing right now?
So my current armor is worth. Are we including armor upgrades?
No, because you can swap those out. I think just the suit.
Okay. The suit itself is worth 19,650, and then the old wings are 18,500. So it totals to between those two to just under 40,000.
Okay. I know normally the weird thing, I mean the official weird thing about Starfinder is supposedly your tech items sell for a 10th, which is crazy. I think with the really high diplomacy check and the fact that they already are motivated to be helping you guys get armed, considering the dangerous missions you're trying to do for them, I'm going to say you can add a new armor, especially considering you only spent 80,000 on your magic item. I'm going to say add a new armor up to 55,000 credits worth.
Okay.
If you find one that's like in and around that price, just DM it to me. I might just still allow it. Like if it's like 600 more or something stupid, you know.
Yeah.
But you can't round 55,000 up to like 75,000.
No. That I do.
Just a quick roundup.
There's one here that you might find interesting, Nix. It's called a plexiglass bodysuit. It's much better stuff, and it is. Yeah, essentially, yeah. So you would have much better, way better upgrades compared to your carbon skin. No armor check penalty and much better bonuses.
Yes.
Oh yeah, looks like the tier 3 one is plus 15 EAC, plus 16 KAC, max dex bonus plus 8.
Yeah.
Four upgrade slots.
Consideration. I see that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna send you the other one I'm considering.
Okay.
Sure. Because this one is much cheaper. It's one worse on KAC and two worse on EAC.
Mm-hmm.
But it has some cool stuff.
I'll say, and also like if you want to debate between those two, and like I don't think we're gonna get into combat before the end of the session, so.
Sure.
Like we can presume you already succeeded the check, you struck this deal, you got the armor. I'm happy to describe it top of next session as well.
Thank you for letting us negotiate that, Ben, because I hate to say it, Nix, you have been way overdue for some armor.
Look. Yes. I'll admit that. Oh armor again.
And I guess at
Oh,
some
God.
point,
It's not that bad.
Shaw, Yo would come up to you, be like, "Hey, Captain, I was looking around like here, and I managed to pick up something that would be pretty useful." And you see them reach in the front pocket, and at first pull out something on like a fairly long chain, and you maybe think at first it looks like probably like an old-timey pocket watch, and it's just like, and they say like, supposedly I can, and they'll lean in really close to sort of whisper, I give this thing a drop of my blood, and I name like anything, and it can help us find it.
Hell yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Definitely the kind of stuff we'd be looking for if we're going to be snooping around Aslanti stations looking for gear, intel, or other things. No, that's a great pickup.
Yeah. Well, the guy that I got it from, though, did tell me a couple interesting things. One, I could only use it once a week, and apparently if you try to ask it anything about the gap, it just won't work at all.
I do.
Interesting.
And it actually does say that in the flavor text.
That's really funny. Okay. Okay. As you guys gather your gear and prepare for your journey, Trison directs you to one of the station. He basically, it's one of the station scientists that works with amphibians. Herpetologist, that's the word. I could not remember it. Essentially a herpetologist that is making things. It's like this scientist might be able to help you with assisting your drift navigation the way we do it. Still something that takes skill, but I think you would guys would pick it up quickly. And if you're worried about it, it could reduce the risk of failure if you guys want to bring on one of our personnel temporarily.
Oh, we have to give them the scientist.
Oh yeah, he's still on board with us, isn't he? Or do we leave the scientist with? 'cause
Unfortunately,
didn't
he
come
is
with us.
still with the Thassaline Liberation Front, I believe.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, we had no opportunity to link back up
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah, I think
We
you
didn't have a
left
chance.
you left him there for the assault on the prison break,
Yeah. Okay. That's
Um,
unfortunate.
which also
I
you
mean,
guys weren't even
good.
able to communicate with
Yeah.
the TLF before you left. So
Yeah, which I mean, they're going to be dealing with the mother of all crackdowns right now. But that's
yeah, at some point, definitely a thread worth picking back up.
yeah.
Yeah.
You see, you get to the scientist. She gestures at what first looks like the wall of a glass enclosure that's kind of dirty. Like there's a couple spots of like various colors all over it. And she's like, "All right, each of these are ADAs. You guys kind of look. Everyone, give me a perception check. I'm going to oppose your roll.
Cool. Ben, that
Yeah.
opposition roll gets a 3.
Honestly, fair. We're almost done with the day. One of them moves, jumps down, and kind of gives the game away for the others. These are glass frogs. They are about the size, I would say, of a full-grown sea turtle in real life. But for those of you who have not seen glass frogs in real life, they are exactly what it sounds like. They are almost clear amphibians that are so clear you can see their internal organs, which is the only thing that really gives them away to those predators. That's what you were seeing on the window, was just a bunch of different organs from frogs stuck to the window. The scientist is like, these are Anura drift amphibians. Basically, and I think this will work with your drift engine that you all have, their skin is kind of a natural refraction point for the drift, And they are able to stabilize and help us navigate through drift corridors and drift lanes. You do have to kind of train them properly. I'd be willing to lend you guys one of my lower ranking scientists to stay on your ship for now if you need it. By all accounts, it sounds like you all are a very capable crew. I'm sure you could figure it out on your own if you needed to, but we are happy to aid. Especially if it helps liberate some of our fellows.
We have accommodations on board for them. Shouldn't be a problem.
Very well. She kind of snaps her fingers. One of the... You see this really young, probably like 19-year-old intern-looking guy. You see he is wearing fatigues, but he has a shirt on underneath, and the fatigues are down to his waist with the sleeves tied around them. He's kind of dirty. Looks like he's been in the enclosure taking care of these animals like firsthand. Hello, I'm Glorian. Pleasure to meet you all. You need an ADA technician?
Yes, so we'll be getting ready to make some drift jumps to help out in... I've already forgotten the name of this. The carrot and the Erdenang, is it Erdenang systems, Ben? Is where the
Yeah.
Well, you guys, are you trying to go
Keraton.
to
Synthesis?
You want to go to
We're
synthesis?
trying to go to synthesis first.
That is in the
and then
Keraton
we're gonna
system.
go. Yes.
Yes.
And then we're gonna go into the Erdenang system
Mm-hmm.
from there. So probably ideally, it would be nice if he could train us on these things, so that when
Well-
we go to the Erdenang system, we don't need to bring him into the dangerous situation.
Well, I think because I had some thoughts about that as well. I guess here's a question. This is going to be a question for Trison and possibly the councilman. If we're going to go get the arborist from the siege, are we bringing her back here? And then, because I was understanding we were bringing her back to here, and then that way we're not risking the oak seeds with us when we're breaking the siege.
Yeah.
So I was under the impression we were bringing her back here. Am I correct on that, Ben?
Yeah, you see, he kind of offers a solution, guys. Well, it's like, for what it's worth, I would like to accompany you all to synthesis. My understanding is that you are going to at least talk to or maybe rescue Arbalest Joan.
Yes.
She's my grandma, sir.
Very well.
Are you? I got a. Sorry, a clarification. Are you saying arborist or arborist or arborist?
I say it is arborist, but it's not really I don't know if it's actually a real word.
I believe it is.
Arborist? Is that how you say
I think
it?
so.
Arborist. Okay, yeah, it's a professional who cultivates trees. Okay. Yeah, arbalist is how I would say it.
Arborist.
You say arborist?
I think arborist. An arborist is like a. I know what it is because of Darkest Dungeon. That's what's.
But he's like, Joanne is my grandma, sir. Says that to Shaw.
Very well. Then, whatever you can fit in a footlocker, pack your gear and meet us aboard. Oh, actually, and then we'll show you how the intricacies of our engine. It already had biotech components, so it may be more comfortable than what you might expect from a largely synthetic ship, but it's going to be very different from biocracy tech.
I'm excited to see it. Even if it's a little out of my comfort zone. Knowledge is knowledge, as far as I'm concerned.
You'll do well. Cool.
Ben.
Yes.
So I think I'm leaning towards the plexiglass bodysuit.
Yes.
Assuming I can get that modified so I can have the wings work with it.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
Okay.
I think it's literally like, as described in the tech here, it's actually plant material that they're like growing for you.
Mhm.
Cool.
You honestly, I think
And
you
then-
go down to their armorer, and she like has some general outlines of suits, and then she, in a couple hours, finishes growing it like to refine specific shape.
Okay.
Just fits perfect.
Unfortunately, it is not in the compendium, so I'll have to input it in.
Yep.
See, now I was positive I had the armory book. I don't know if I ever bought the near space book, which is what that's from.
That's fine.
So
If
I
it
will
makes
investigate.
If it makes you feel better, since this is the highest tier of this armor, the
Mhm.
next armor I get is going to be the other one, which is Drift Crisis, which I'm pretty sure you do have.
I'm like positive I have Drift Crisis, but then again, I was positive I had armory. So what the fuck do I know? I don't know.
But yeah,
Everything's
I
messed up right now.
input my plexiglass armor bodysuit 3.
All right. As you bring him aboard y'all's ship and begin to set out for the coordinates of Synthesis, the planet-wide tree city, I'm gonna want Refine to make an engineering check and Shaw to make a piloting check as you guys work with Glorian to get this frog working and to make sure you're starting to understand it, so eventually you won't need him.
Sec. Engineering, you said?
God, fucking in sync there. Jesus Christ. Almost the same roll. Successfully enter the drift. You guys been maneuvering along one of the more stable drift lanes. And I think your knowledge of this does progress. It's gonna get easier and easier until you won't need to make additional checks to make this work. Yeah, even without him. I am going to make a roll for the drift lanes here. And I'm going to say your engine halves it. Is that right, Shaw?
By a third.
By a third?
Well, excuse me. It makes it a third.
Makes it
We
a
divide by 3.
Okay. Okay. Instead of 12 days, it's going to take 4. I'll roll some dice here. Okay. You do not encounter anything in the drift, despite some minor turbulence. And you are going to exit the drift. And in the distance, you see a beautiful, at first like a green marble of a planet hanging in the void. And then, as you kind of begin to circuit around it, kind of counterclockwise to the way that it's spinning, you begin to see, at first it looks like storms from a distance, but you begin to realize these are massive, presumably like smokes, infestation in the atmosphere. Just countless trees and wooden structures burning. There is a pall of smoke over large swaths of this planet. At the moment, it seems like there's not a very heated void battle going on at the going on above the planet. Okay, 919, still pretty good. You do see that there is scattered Aeon torpedo fire going around. Various ships. As you get closer, you're going to see more and more. You see flocks and flocks of Keratin fighters diving around. You get the sense that there are enough in the system that this could have been a major engagement. This is probably one of many sorties that happen, who knows how often, over the planet. But God, you see large Aslanti cruisers. You see Omu of varying sizes and shapes, these flocks of beetles escorting them. You even see some smaller striders, like tugboat equivalents, just getting absolutely flattened as they are used in last minute like ditch efforts, even as distractions. You see, for the first time, dying and already dead Omu, these beautiful space whales, the flickering energies that line their skin, gone as they float through the air, or through the lack of air. Who knows how many other dead ones. You see, at this point in the war, what at first looked more like an asteroid belt around the planet over that smoke-laden world, you see is just countless ship hulls and beasts strewn like an asteroid belt around the world. Nothing here is as big as the Emerald Dominion. You see no sign, as of yet, of their new and enhanced dreadnoughts, the Anghelii. And yet there are clockwork nexuses, these enormous Aslanti bulbous ships that you know can deploy many dropships, troop carriers. You even see in the distance what looks to be some sort of colossal dreadnought, which, if you talk to your new crew member, you would know is a Sovereign Vindicator. It's clumsy, slow, and it has devastating weapons that you see firing broadside after broadside. As you first begin to approach, no need to make stealth or piloting checks yet, but you see that there is a open and looped broadcast being put out on an open channel across the entire system. Whatever ship is, or ships even, are doing this, they're using a ton of their reactor to make a system-wide broadcast on a loop. Do you guys listen to it?
Shaw will.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Refine is not listening. Refine has other things on their mind.
Refine, maybe down in the engineering space, but those of you on the bridge, Shaw, you flick a switch to broadcast this over the speakers. You hear a gruff male voice. Suppose the Star Empire is a crucible. Humans, then, are its unyielding metal. Our culture, the fire that forged us, made us the perfect species. This flame burns us every day, relentlessly, but it cannot harm us. We are the purest of materials. We endure the heat. We made the crucible. And what does it hold now? Every other species that has failed the test of fire. So then, it is our duty to melt them down to their constituents, boil away the corruption, and mold what remains into tools that can serve the glory of the Aeon throne. See, there's a brief pause. The message resets. This is Admiral Ariok Auravest, broadcasting on an open channel for all to hear. Suppose the Star Empire is a crucible, and you see he has just this Exarch, this like Grand Admiral of the Aslanti military, is broadcasting this to all of his forces, and on a continuous loop, taking up the airwaves for all of the Biocracy forces to hear, should they choose to.
Is there an image to this at all, or is it just audio?
At the moment, it's just audio.
I'm gonna
And-
go see her fine.
We're gonna pause there. I think that's where we're gonna stop for today.
It's not
Do you
like
want
a
to
plot thing. It's
Alright.
a funny thing.
Go for it. I will allow it.
I'm gonna ask her fine if it's possible for her to hack this transmission and just have him just like take a sample of his voice and just have him say something stupid about himself over and over on repeat.
I think I need to be on their ship for that. To
How's it?
work.
I'd say something you could give a try to next time, perhaps.
Okay.
I mean, you can at least, for free, you can record the whole thing, like, and use that as a voice
Yeah.
model. Because he's,
Yeah,
he's broadcasting in the open.
I'll record his broadcast. Also, for next time, Ben,
Yes.
would it be possible to just make one of the checks about the prescience crystal, like, immunization that Refine is trying to build for themselves, like, once during, like, each of our times in the drift?
Yeah, like, en route. Sure, we can do that next time.
Yeah. Just, like, I figure I might not get it successfully next time, but just do my checks, like, when we're in the drift going from place to place and I have time to actually, like, work on stuff.
Yeah, like, you'll devote your downtime in the drift to figuring that out for now. Okay, yeah, I'm down with that. Alright, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll be back next Thursday, presumably. Thanks, everybody.